Welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to tell you a real-life story that is both incredible and inspiring. This is the story of the 33 Chilean miners who got trapped underground and their amazing rescue. It's a tale of courage, hope, and the strength of human spirit. So, grab some popcorn and let's dive into this unforgettable journey. In August 2010, the San Jose mine in Chile was busy with workers. Miners were digging deep into the earth, searching for gold and copper. The mine was filled with the sounds of machinery and laughter as the men worked side by side. But one fateful day, everything changed. Around noon, the ground shook violently, sending waves of panic through the site. Suddenly, the mine collapsed. Heavy rocks and dirt cascaded down, trapping 33 men inside. They were about 700 meters underground, far from the light of day. The workers were scared and confused, their hearts racing. Many of them thought they might not see their families again. In the chaos, some tried to call for help, but the tunnels were blocked. The noise of falling rock drowned out their voices. As darkness closed in around them, the miners felt fear creeping into their hearts. They huddled together, not knowing what to do next. It was a moment of complete uncertainty. What could they possibly do in a situation like this? As soon as the collapse happened, rescue teams jumped into action. They knew time was important. Families outside the mine were worried and gathered at the entrance, praying for their loved ones. They held hands and formed a circle, hoping their energy would somehow reach the miners below. The rescue teams began to drill holes into the ground to try and reach the trapped men. But it was harder than they thought. The rock was tough, and the time was ticking away. Day after day, the rescue teams worked tirelessly, trying different methods to reach the miners. They faced many challenges, including unstable ground and harsh weather conditions. Meanwhile, the families remained hopeful, clinging to the belief that their loved ones would be found. Days passed, and hope started to fade. Each passing hour felt like an eternity. Some people began to fear the worst, but the rescuers refused to give up. They kept their spirits high, believing that they could still reach the miners. It was a race against time, and everyone was determined to win. Meanwhile, the miners were trying to stay calm. They found a small pocket of air where they could breathe. The conditions were dark and cramped. They had some food and water, but it wouldn't last long. They quickly realized that they had to conserve what little they had. They huddled together to stay warm, sharing stories to lift each other's spirits. Some told jokes, while others recounted memories of happier times with their families. They were scared, but they knew they had to stay strong for each other. They formed a tight bond, relying on one another for support. After several days of waiting, they decided to write a note for the rescue teams. Using a piece of paper they had, they wrote, "We are okay in here. We are 33. They wanted the world to know they were alive. The act of writing the note gave them a sense of purpose, a way to communicate with the outside world. They managed to send the note up through one of the drill holes. When it reached the surface, it brought tears of joy and relief to the rescue teams and families waiting above. The miners' spirits lifted, knowing they had been heard. On the 17th day, something amazing happened. A drill bit broke through the rock, and they heard a loud noise. It was a sound they had been waiting for, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. The miners were so excited, they quickly sent up a note that said, "We are okay in here. We are 33. The rescue workers couldn't believe it. They had feared the worst, but now had hope. They gathered around to discuss the next steps. They realized that now they had to plan carefully to bring the miners to safety. Each minute mattered, and the pressure was on. Engineers began designing a special capsule that could safely transport the miners to the surface. It had to be strong enough to handle the long trip and the weight of the men inside. As they worked, they knew the eyes of the world were on them. Families were praying, and people from all over the globe were rooting for the miners. With renewed determination, the rescue teams prepared for what would be a historic operation. They set up communication with the miners, letting them know they would soon be rescued. The miners felt a rush of hope, knowing they weren't alone anymore. The rescue teams worked day and night to prepare for the rescue. They had to make a special capsule to bring the miners up one by one. Engineers from around the world offered their expertise, sharing ideas and designs. It was a huge team effort, and everyone wanted to save the miners. Every detail mattered. They had to consider how long the journey would take and how to keep the miners calm. They tested the capsule multiple times, ensuring it could withstand any problem that might arise during the ascent. Safety was the top priority. Meanwhile, families waited anxiously outside. They formed support groups, sharing their fears and hopes. They lit candles and created a wall of photographs, showing their loved ones smiling. They felt connected to the miners, even from afar. Finally, after weeks of planning, everything was ready. The world watched with bated breath as the rescue teams prepared for the first ascent. The miners had been underground for over 2 weeks, and the anticipation was palpable. Would the capsule work? Would they finally see the light of day? Finally, the day came for the first rescue attempt. The rescue capsule, named Phoenix, was ready, and everyone held their breath. The first miner to go up was Florencia Velas. The capsule was lowered slowly into the mine, and the tension was thick. Families and rescuers watched closely, praying for a safe ascent. As the capsule reached the miners, they gathered around it, their hearts racing. They cheered Florencia on, encouraging him as he climbed inside. The moment was surreal. It felt like a scene from a movie. With a nod from the rescue team, the capsule began its ascent. When it finally broke through the surface, everyone erupted in applause. Florencia was safe. He stepped out of the capsule, blinking in the bright light. He hugged his family tightly, tears streaming down his face. The joy was overwhelming. It was the first of many happy reunions, and it marked the beginning of a hopeful journey for the remaining miners. As the crowd celebrated, rescue workers quickly prepared for the next ascent. They knew this was just the start. Each miner brought a unique story, and everyone was eager to hear what they had to say. As each miner was brought to the surface, emotions ran high. Families cried and cheered as they saw their loved ones again. The reunions were filled with laughter, tears, and a sense of relief. Each miner had their own story to tell, and everyone listened closely. Some miners described the fear they felt, while others shared the moments that kept them going. Many mentioned the bond they formed with each other, how they supported one another through the darkest days. Their bravery was inspiring, and the world couldn't get enough of their stories. The rescue team worked diligently, and the crowd grew larger with each ascent. People waved flags and held signs of support. The miners were hailed as heroes, not just for surviving but for their incredible spirit and unity during the crisis. Every rescued miner brought more hope to the surface, and it felt like a miracle was unfolding. With each ascent, the world felt a little brighter. It was a reminder that people could come together in the face of adversity. One by one, the miners were rescued. Each time, the crowd outside cheered louder. They held banners and waved flags, celebrating every life saved. The joy was infectious, and it spread to everyone involved in the rescue. By the end of the rescue, all 33 miners were out. It was a historic moment for Chile and the entire world. People around the globe watched the news, sharing in the excitement. The rescue was a testament to human resilience and determination. As the last miner, Luis Uaza, emerged from the depths, the crowd erupted in thunderous applause. He was the shift leader, and he felt immense pride for his team. They had fought through darkness together, and now they stood united in the light. The miners hugged their families tightly, feeling the warmth of love after such a long wait. The world was captivated by their bravery and spirit. News outlets flooded with stories, and the miners became symbols of hope. Their incredible journey showed that teamwork and determination could overcome even the toughest challenges. After the rescue, the miners faced a new challenge, adjusting back to life above ground. They held a news conference to share their experiences. The room was filled with reporters, cameras flashing as the miners took their seats. Some spoke about their fears, while others talked about the strength they found in each other. They shared moments of darkness and the light that followed. The world listened closely, and many were moved to tears by their stories. They became heroes, not just for surviving, but for their unity during the crisis. They inspired many people around the world. The rescue showed that even in the darkest times, there is always light. They each received support from mental health professionals to help them cope with their experiences. The miners used their newfound fame to raise awareness about safety in mining. They wanted to ensure that no one else would have to go through what they did. Their voices became a powerful tool for change, and they continue to advocate for safer working conditions. The rescue of the 33 miners left a lasting impact. It reminded everyone of the power of hope, teamwork, and resilience. People built a memorial to honor the miners and the rescue teams. It became a symbol of strength and determination. The miners went on to live their lives, sharing their stories and inspiring others. Some returned to mining, while others pursued new paths. They used their experiences to encourage people to face challenges with courage and optimism. The rescue operation was studied worldwide, showcasing the importance of preparation and teamwork in emergency situations. Rescue teams across the globe adopted new strategies based on the lessons learned from this event. As the years went by, The miners held reunions, sharing laughs and memories of their time underground. They became a close-knit family, forever connected by their incredible journey. Their story teaches us that no matter how tough life gets, we can always find a way to rise again. Thank you for joining us in this incredible story of the Chilean miners. Their journey teaches us about courage, unity, and never giving up. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more amazing real-life stories. Remember, even in the darkest places, there is always a way to find the light. See you next time.